A collection of notes penned by former Pope and soon-to-be St. John Paul II dating back to the early 60s has been published in a very limited release. The 638-page book is currently available only in Polish. It spans more than 40 years of the ex-pontiff's career, going back to when he was still known as Cardinal Karol Wojtyła. Sourced from his own handwritten notes, the collection is not a daily diary, but contain instead John Paul II's theological reflections, questions about God's intentions, and his concerns that he was not worthy of the calling. The notes, dated 1962 to 2003, were given to the Pope's then-secretary Stanislaw Dziwisz, now a cardinal in Krakow, Poland, prior to John Paul's death in 2005. They were left with instructions to burn them after the Pope's death, but the cardinal chose not to do so. Cardinal Dziwisz wrote a foreword to the book titled in Polish, John Paul II, I Am Very Much in God's Hands. In it, he explains that the notes offer a deeper insight into the private spiritual life of the man who led the Roman Catholic Church for 27 years. The Cardinal's decision to publish John Paul II's private notes has brought both praise and criticism from Polish Catholics. While some of the comments center around the former Pope questioning himself in his own role in the Church, his belief in God stays constant. Rarely are the ex-pontiff's comments ever about public events, despite his unprecedented media status. In 2013, Pope Francis approved John Paul II for canonization, and the Church will make him a saint this coming April. As church services ended on February 3rd in Sugar Creek Country Club, a mobile home community in Bradenton, Florida, 79-year-old Doreen Lanstra claims she attempted to put her 2009 Chevrolet Tahoe in drive and leave the parking lot, but inadvertently put the SUV in reverse, gunned the engine, and drove over 7 people chatting in the lot behind her, killing 3 of them. The victims ranged in age from 67 to 89. However, according to witness reports, Lanstra had been pulling forward but needed more space to clear a parked car when she put the vehicle she was piloting in reverse, jumped a curb, hit the bystanders, and wound up partially submerged in a creek. Muriel Watts, an EMT who responded to the call, described what she saw in these words. People were lying on the ground bleeding. It was a horrible sight. With a population somewhere around 5 million, the nation known as the Central African Republic sits snugly between Chad and the Congo. Michael Jotodia, leader of a Muslim rebel group called Salika, had seized power in a coup last year but has since stepped down. In the aftermath, Christian militias have run wild, killing Muslims in the streets and burning and looting entire villages with willful abandon. Muslims are now leaving the country by the truckload as Christians stand cheering their departure. More than 60,000 Muslim refugees have fled since December. However, most of the meat production and other wholesalers who are in charge of food imports were Muslims, so the region is now suffering for their absence. A spokesman for the International Organization for Migration was quoted as saying the absence of these individuals is going to have a massive effect on society here. Prices are going up and it's been extremely difficult to find beef in the capital.